Hey everyone, go ahead and invite our guest, Kirsten. There we go. Invited our guest for today. Oh, she just joined. Awesome. Oh my gosh, hello.
Hi, how's it going? Oops.
It's going good. Thank you so much for joining. Yes, we'll just wait a minute for a few people to get on.
Yeah.
But before we start our portion of the live, I did want to take a minute to talk about our new website that we just launched, which is super exciting. Emma did a great job working on it. It looks absolutely amazing. So make sure to go check it out. It's at endthesilentepidemic.org. And also, we also created a YouTube channel, which we are now uploading these lives onto our YouTube channel and onto our website. So make sure to go check those out. And I've actually done a live with Kirsten before. We did one about 2 months ago, I'd say.
I think
So yeah, so if you guys haven't seen that yet, make sure to go check it out. But I wanted to talk to you guys for a minute about our activism campaign. You can look for Hi Mental Health Ohio. You guys can look for more information about it on our website. But basically, a quick rundown. It only takes about a few minutes to join, and it's totally worth the time. So our steps to joining are one, you download the Love Bomb app, and hi eaters. Two, for every Friday, use Love Bomb to create or send a video, voice, or text message to a loved one that includes a personal mental health check-in. Step three is every Friday, and the Silent Epidemic and Love Bomb will share a Friends Forever Friday post, or you can regram this post or create your own mental health post to help end the silence once and for all. And step four is to enter your email below to, not below, on the website, there'll be like a space below with all this on the steps, on the step page, you can enter your email below and to officially join. And also, obviously, the name field is optional. So if you'd like to stay anonymous, it's totally fine. But with that being said, make sure to go check out our website. And for the specific activism campaign, you can go to endthesilentepidemic.org/activism if you just want to see that part. But make sure to go check out the website because it looks amazing. So for our live this week, in honor of it being Pride Month, we wanted to talk about like mental health within members of the LGBTQ plus community. And so today I decided to interview once again my friend Kirsten. Kirsten, do you just want to say a little bit about yourself for people who don't know you yet?
yeah, the last time I did a live I was 16, now I'm 17. I've been a part of the LGBTQ plus community for like 5 years. So pretty new, but I'm identify as bisexual and non-binary. So, it's pretty fun. It's a great community.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing.
Hmm.
And so I decided to bring Kirsten on and for us to talk about these questions. So for my first question, it's do you feel accepted in your community, like at home, for being part of the LGBTQ plus community?
I would say overall the town and community I'm from is overall really accepting. There are the people that don't quite just accept it in general, but overall it's a pretty accepting community where I'm from. So yeah.
That's awesome. How has that like affected you personally, just being in a more accepting environment?
It's pretty nice just having that support all around you because I know that some communities aren't as accepting, especially those with more conservative natures are very just unaccepting of you being yourself if you're a different sexuality, if you're just different in general. So I'm pretty blessed to be a part of such a welcoming community.
Awesome, that's amazing. On a more like personal level, do you feel accepted by your family?
Motion detected at the front door. But my family was a little taken back at first. They were like, why? Why is our daughter like this? But they've come to accept it, and we've kind of gotten around it in general just because it's just something that you're born with and how you feel inside. It's not just like, oh, I choose to be this way. It's just like I am this way. So we got over the humps and hurdles that because my mom was raised really conservative, my dad never really understood what it was. So it's so I was kind of that nice little black sheep in my family of like white sheep.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I'm sure many people who are watching this who are members of the community probably have experienced the same thing as you.
Mhm.
So, how has their like response affected you? Like both their response at the beginning and their response now?
At the beginning, I was kind of scared because I felt like that I wasn't loved by them, but that was never the case. Like, I just was like nervous that they weren't going to accept me for being, because I came out as pan and it kind of just was like a few humps and hurdles. I was like pan to lesbian to non-binary with neo pronouns, and like I kind of went through those humps and hurdles with myself, but I kind of figured out where I stand, and my parents were just like, okay, if you identify this way, you're gonna be okay. Like, everything's gonna be fine.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm sure that definitely that their acceptance has probably just made it much easier for you and many
Oh yeah,
others. Because even though, like you said, it was confusing, like for like your dad, for example, it's obviously like more the most confusing for you because you're the one who's trying to, figure yourself out.
exactly.
So, so how has being a member of the LGBTQ plus community affected your mental health? And I'm just talking about like in general, like hearing certain people's like responses to it, and like certain people not being as accepting. Like how has that like affected your mental health?
I think in a positive, like I'll go positive, then I'll go negative, but not to take anything away from it, but positively, it just kind of gave me an open spot to just let everything out. Like, especially because most of my friends are a part of this community. So I can have those people to talk about, and the counselors at school, like, don't discriminate on who you are. Like, if you want to change your pronouns for school, they're just like, okay, what do you go by? And what should we address you as? Because a few of my friends, like, changed their name to go with their pronouns, and the school's fine with that. But negatively, I know that there is a lot of people who are very, very conservative at my school, which is really sad to say, which no high schooler should be thinking about this right now because they still have so much to live for their 4 years or however many years they have left there. But they are definitely discriminatory based on their beliefs, which is very sad.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, like on a more positive note, I have noticed as time has gone on, there's been a lot more people being more accepting. Like at my school, I've noticed at the beginning of the year, whenever a lot of teachers were having us fill out like get to know me forms, there was a lot of that was like, what are your pronouns? Like he, she, they, them, other. Like they even were giving options for like neopronouns, which I thought was really amazing that they were being so like open. And also
Yeah,
like Instagram now having like the pronoun feature where you can put your pronouns into your bio.
yeah, it makes me
Like,
so.
definitely. And I know exactly what you mean. There's plenty of people at my high school that are just really just immature about it. And
Yeah.
I do feel like terrible for people who have to like deal with it because some people just can't be mature about it.
Hmm.
Um, oh, you have a question for Mental Health Ohio.
How old are you? I was about 12 in reality. Like, it's a little bit of a weird spot because like I knew I was LGBT, but I kind of like hinted to them that I was like a little on the gay side, and just in short, I was kind of like dropping hints. I was like, hey, I think I like girls now, but I still like guys, and they just didn't know what to say about that. But I fully came out in about it was sixth or seventh grade, so it was about like 4 years ago. So I've been a part of the community for about five, but I've been fully out for about 4 years.
Awesome.
That helps.
So, um, another question about your mental health. If you weren't part of the LGBT community, do you think that your mental health would be any different? Like, because I'm sure that hearing people like who are hateful about this kind of stuff, it probably does like take a toll on your mental health. So do you feel like if you weren't part of the community, you might have a different sort of mental health experience?
I probably would because I always bottle up my emotions, and most of my family and friends can tell you the same thing. Like, I keep everything bottled up because I want to be there for other people and not necessarily worry about my own issues or talk to anyone about my own issues. So, like, when I came out, I tried helping my friends if they wanted to come out or had to figure out their identity. I don't force identity upon anyone by all means, but I just try and help people figure out who they are. So and if I wasn't a part of this community, I probably wouldn't have done everything I've done now because I've helped most of my friends come out these past couple years, which was like but it was a magical moment. So I think it would have definitely been different.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure. Um, How has being part of the LGBTQ plus community affected like how you view yourself? Like over like the course, and I'm sure for I've heard from different people that their how they viewed themselves has changed like throughout the time that they've been in the community, but like how has that affected how you view yourself?
I've definitely viewed myself differently. And when I was closeted, since that's like, if no one knows, that's the proper term. And so, I would, it's a weird thing to say. I've been kind of realizing more of my flamboyancy from just being around people that bring out the best in you. Like being around some of me and my friends call each other the gayest people on the planet just because of our flamboyancy and how happy we are. Because if you watch old 1950s movies, for anyone that does, they use gay as a happy thing as opposed to addressing, a homosexual relationship. So we call
Mhm.
ourselves the double gayest, happiest people. So it's a little bit of a weird zone, but I definitely realized that I've been much more happy for sure and much more open.
Awesome, that's amazing. So Mental Health Ohio just left a comment, which actually I'd love to like share to everyone watching, in regards to like you saying that typically you prefer to be there for others over like them being there for you. So
Mhm.
Mental Health Ohio just said you have to take care of yourself to take care of others. You can't pour from an empty cup. And I literally love that quote so much. I'm gonna start saying that from now on because that's so true. It's always important. Of course, being there for the people is like super important, but also letting letting yourself feel emotions and like letting other people be there for you is also incredibly important.
Yeah.
So
It
thank you so much for sharing that.
is. Mhm.
Um, so how has being part of the LGBTQ plus community affected your life?
For sure, definitely changed in how people have treated me. Because when I did first come out, rumors got around my school, and I don't know how. Rumors got around my middle school of when I came out. People started, dropping slurs at me, calling me the F slur. I won't say it just for, just to make other people feel safe, but people just started calling me some of the most hateful things that you could call a person. And it was definitely scary, but I think that now with everything changing, just how more people are feeling more open. Like I've gone to a few pride parades and a few pride events before COVID. Definitely has really opened up my eyes to how many people are for the better of this community as opposed to like the haters, because there are people who will go to these events and try and bring everything down. But if you're just celebrating something that makes you happy, just don't let anyone else bother you. It's like the main thing is that you shouldn't let anyone else, what they say or do, bother you. And I've definitely noticed that I've been more rock hard with what people say. And like if somebody says something to me, I'm just like, okay, you can think of what you want of me, based on what I wear. Because people think that I wear what I wear because of my sexuality, which is really weird. And I listen to the music I do. And that's just stereotypes, which is the worst thing out there,
Mhm.
is stereotype on a person. But definitely I noticed like more people around me have been much more open with me about who they are. They're just like, hey, I think I'm questioning this about myself, or I'm questioning this. So I'm like, it's nice being able to help guide them, because I've had to guide elementary school. Like a fifth grader like told me, hey, I'm feeling like I like different genders of people. And I'm like, you're young. How'd you figure this out? It took me forever to figure this out. That's nice to
Yeah,
see people open up.
yeah, definitely. And first, I'm so sorry that you had to deal with, especially like being in like sixth, seventh grade, having to hear people say rumors and just say like slurs to you. That sounds terrible. But
Mhm.
I think it's amazing how like you've been able to like help other people, and it's kind of crazy seeing like how seeing people like you for example like being open about who you are, like being able to like help others who are similar or in a similar situation. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, so how oh my gosh, sorry, I was just starting to stutter for a second. How do you feel about teen suicide rates from members of the LGBTQ plus community? Because I've definitely seen like a lot of like their suicide rates are pretty high, especially from people who like aren't accepting of them and that just negatively affecting their mental health. How does that make you feel?
Oh my gosh, when you sent me these questions, I saw that one and I was like, immediately, I just thought of a few people I knew who attempted suicide just based on bullying. And that's one of the main things is like, it's either family or it's just either family abuse or like bullying from people at school. It's like so hurtful just to see these rates of, it's like not even just females and non-binaries, but if you look at some of just like gay men coming out to other people, it's just so sad to see the men rate being just as high as everyone else's. And it's just, it definitely breaks you for sure, just looking at the statistics. And it's just like, I'm a depressed teenager, and I've definitely thought about taking my life a few times because of people saying things. I was just like, am I not good enough just because of my sexuality? So I definitely thought about that. But it's heartbreaking is the main thing. It's just really heartbreaking.
Yeah, definitely. And I I follow the Trevor Project on
I,
Instagram. Yeah, and I saw, June is Pride Month, and so they were posting about like suicide rates of um gay, bi, lesbian people and like transgender people just based on like they were talking about transgender people like not being respected of their pronouns. Like that's a big factor, or like people just not being accepting of just sexualities in general, and that like causing like suicide rates to spike up. And I was like devastated. I literally remember seeing that and just being so devastated because it's just terrible that some people just don't have the decency to just respect people for just being who they are.
yeah, like one of my best friends who I've known since fourth grade, when she figured out who she was, but I was still questioning, her current girlfriend is a transgender male to female. And like, if my best friend, I'm not going to name names just for privacy, but if she's on a call with her girlfriend, I'll just be like, I definitely am fully respectful of pronouns, and if I mess up pronouns, you can ask anyone. I feel so bad just because I'm like, oh, that's they them pronouns, I didn't mean to say she her, like, their biological gender, because it's definitely something that I've done and I have to apologize to people for. And like, some people, if it's like an accident, they're completely cool about it. But if it's like on purpose, like if it's a transgender male to female or female to male, definitely you notice that it hurts when people are just like, you're not supposed to be this, like these pronouns. So it's just the pronouns thing is like, it's so ridiculous that people get so mad over it. It's simple. It's just a quick, like, hurt, and you might not even see the person again because of,
Mm-hmm.
one time just pass through and just be like, hey, can you respect my pronouns? And it just, it does, it's something so silly to get so mad about.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree. Literally, this is such a coincidence. Literally, this morning I was commenting on a TikTok video that I saw, of this guy. He duetted a video of a transgender female, and he went out of his way to duet her video just to say like, just to like misgender her and be like, oh, and he literally said like, oh, what is this guy doing? Like he literally did that just to disrespect her pronouns. And the comments were like, why are you so angry? And I commented, I was like, so basically what I'm saying is you went out of your way to duet this video just to disrespect this woman who has done absolutely nothing to you, who is just living her life. Like, what is the purpose of doing that? And it really upset me, honestly. I was like really upset by it because it's so terrible to see that some people have like so much hate in their heart that they just feel the need to tear other people down literally just for being themselves.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's just like also drag queens. Like some people don't consider them part of the community, but they completely are. Like, I don't know if you saw that video that's been going over TikTok. A lot of people I know have, but I think it's from Blue's Clues with the Pride Parade and how it's like representing, like it's kind of like the Answer Marching One by One, that song. It's a big Pride Parade, and a drag queen is the like announcer who's singing, and it just like it opened up my world just seeing what they're going to try and educate these younger kids on, because we definitely, I think my, like both of our generation has definitely missed out on that education point from when we were younger about this community, because they never educated what boy and boy love is, or girl and girl, or like if you like multiple people, like why do you like two people at the same time? And it's like a love circle, which is being in a polyamorous relationship. It's just so sad that the education just has kind of failed the community in some of the worst ways.
Definitely. And it upsets me to see a lot people trying to not to stop like kids from learning about this like the LGBTQ plus community and saying like, oh, I don't need like my kid to be influenced by this, or I don't, they're too young to hear about this. Because I remember growing up, I never really heard about it, and I didn't even really know fully like understand the LGBTQ plus community until I was in like middle school,
Hmm.
and I just got out of middle school a year ago. So it's crazy that like I didn't even really start understanding it till like sixth grade because like nobody, it was like such like a taboo subject for some reason and nobody would talk about it. And so and it was awful because like I also have like many friends who are in the LGBTQ plus community and nobody was being educated on it. So no one knew about it. And so obviously there were other kids here like having these feelings and trying to understand like exactly what they're feeling, but they didn't know because like we weren't educated on it. And that just really bothers me because I feel like we need to help people understand and know that it's not a subject that like kids like don't need to hear about. It's something
Yeah,
that's it's something completely normal. Like there shouldn't be some sort of stigma on it at all.
exactly. I completely agree with that too.
Yeah. But that is all the questions I have. Does anybody in the chat have any questions? Kristen, is there anything that you want to talk about specifically?
I was going to say also, and if you feel unsafe in a community where you're from, if you're LGBTQ plus or an ally, and even if you're an ally, I know in some states or places, you're not supported, even though it's just being a complete supporter of the community. But it's just like if you feel endangered, I would definitely talk to someone. I know. Thank you, Mental Health Ohio. Definitely I've noticed that my friends will either talk to me because like overall in Crystal Lake where I'm from, it's a very open community, and definitely when I was down in Florida for my birthday this past week, and there was a lot of events going on, like, you know, and the flags were being flown around and people had them attached to their cars with the American flag as opposed to having something really overall really just hurtful, like a Trump flag or a Biden flag or just anything political. It was just the American flag and a pride flag, which just made my heart open. And I was just so thankful that Florida was overall pretty open. I know they're a kind of conservative state, but the people,
Hmm.
our supporters, are definitely open about it. They're just like, because most of those conservative states, they won't stop talking about certain things, but you know, as long as it's positive stuff, I don't see why we should stop the people talking.
Hmm. Definitely, for sure. And also, like you said about like feeling unsafe in your community, like once this live ends and we'll upload it onto our page, I'm gonna put a link to like some hotlines that you can call if you're ever feeling unsafe like in your community.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I definitely agree. It really it's amazing to see like how things have changed and like seeing it makes me like just really happy whenever I see people that are so like open and so accepting because it changes people's lives for sure.
Yeah, because also when I came back from the airport from Florida, I saw these lovely drag queens in full makeup and full outfits boarding, or like sitting in the boarding lane to going from where my was coming from like from Tampa to Chicago, and then they were going to Chicago or to Tampa from Chicago, and I saw these three drag queens who were traveling together for a show in Florida. I'm so sad I didn't get a picture or ask for a picture. They were just the most flamboyant in their outfits, and I was just so appreciative that they were just out there. And one of them, oh God, I just hate because I don't know how to gender them, but I'm just gonna do they them pronouns. But one of the guys had, or one of the people had, a glittery beard with the big wig, and it was just so. It made my heart so happy seeing that they didn't really care what anyone else thought. They just literally went onto the plane in full drag, and I was, oh, it was like happy laughs, not bad laughs. I was just laughing out of pure joy.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I saw a drag queen, I think it was spring break of seventh grade, so about like 2 years ago. Me and one of my good friends, we were in Charlotte and we were at this like really fancy mall. And this drag queen came in with, again, I'm gonna refer to them as they, them pronouns, but they
Yeah.
had like, full makeup. And I remember me and my friend were just like so amazed. We thought like, because they were like beautiful. We were so like amazed. Like we thought it was so cool and it made me so happy. So I definitely agree. It's definitely amazing to see like them like being so open and just not caring about like people being judgmental, because
Oh yeah,
there are obviously plenty of judgmental people in the world, and that's really upsetting.
queens though. I'm jealous of their makeup. I definitely in that sense on how amazing some of these people who are like in the community have such bomb makeup skills. And like if you see some other people try and recreate these skills, like it's mainly drag queens, like the over exaggerated eyeliner that goes to like here,
Mhm.
the eyeshadow that goes to like here, and their eyebrows that go there, and oh, just
Mhm.
so much serotonin.
I know it's so amazing. Like I wish that I could do that. Like I wish I was like that talented at makeup. They always look like so amazing.
I know.
Um, so does anybody have any questions for Kirsten? And
I will answer anything. I'm pretty open about this because it's hard to just be quiet in a society where everyone tries to shut you down. So I'm overall pretty open about this kind of thing. So if anyone has any questions for me, even about mental health, because we had that talk a couple months back, I remember about just mental health and how everything with mental health is just important to talk about. So I'm definitely open for that, especially because we're both a part of Robbie's Hope. And, you know, we want to stop the stigma surrounding teen suicide. So if anyone needs any advice for that too, I will have my Instagram DMs open for anyone who needs that too.
yeah, and same here. If anybody ever wants to talk about certain like mental health topics, you can feel free to DM one of us. And me and Kirsten, we've actually this is our third live I think we've done together.
Yeah.
We did
Oh, sorry.
oh no, sorry. We did a live on End the Silent Epidemic about 2 months ago. And then her and I, if you on my account, her and I did a live together. Um uh
It was
January, December.
for January, I think it was, because I remember I made a really cool poster, a digital poster for that we both shared on our pages, and definitely lots of people came to watch because it's definitely something really important to talk about. What is Robbie's Hope? Do you want to talk about that, Ava?
Yeah, for sure. So Robbie's Hope is a mental health organization that we're centered around cutting the stigma behind mental health. And it was started by two parents who sadly lost their son to suicide. And so they started this foundation, and it's grown a ton. There's many ambassadors all over the country who are just working to end the stigma around mental health. And me and Kirsten did a live about Robbie's Hope where we talked a lot about it, like I said, back in December. So if you'd like to learn more, you guys can go to their Instagram page or go like watch our live or something. Definitely.
Yeah, that was one of the coolest things also because they have ambassador lives I think every month or every couple months or so, and I usually or like they have like Zoom calls, and definitely it's nice to talk about it with Olivia, who, you know, I love Olivia. She's like the sweetest person. Like I've messaged her on Instagram about just how I was struggling a little bit, and she was just so supportive, and it's definitely a great group of people that, you know, that you can talk to. So
I'm so sorry. My younger sister just walked in. I completely missed that. I'm so sorry.
oh no, you're fine. I was just talking about how like really this community is like definitely me, like, you know, introduced me to new people, especially Ava, which is
Mhm.
probably one of my favorites.
Thank you.
But
Yeah.
I've also had a lot of people from Illinois who I, you know, because Illinois is overall pretty boring state. So we have this whole group that we're trying to change the legislation, excuse me, in Illinois about trying to add mental health days to rosters as opposed to sick days, because physical sickness and mental sickness are two different things. And me and the group talked to Carrie Eckert about this on a personal Zoom call, and it was very, very special to just be able to talk to her about what we wanted to do about, you know, trying to get the word out about mental health days, because definitely I've had those days where I've just needed them,
Hmm.
as opposed to being like, Dad, I just need you to call me sick, you know. And I'll just like, you know, and what sucks about schools now is that they treat everything like it's COVID. So if I were to take 2 days off of school, they would have to get me tested for COVID if I wanted to go back, which is completely ridiculous, but you know.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I've also been thinking about I've been talking to some people about maybe trying to, get mental health days in school because similar to you, I know there have been days where like for me personally, it's especially like if I have like an anxiety attack the night before, usually it messes up like my whole system and I just need like a day off and I've definitely taken days for that reason before. But also, like you said, I've also met a ton of people. I feel like the mental health community is probably like is such an amazing community to be a part of, and it's just so amazing to like meet all these accepting and kind friends. Like I remember me and Kirsten, literally the first time that we spoke to each other. Well, I mean, we had a video chat like right before we did our live. Like our first like conversation was like the live that we did together on my page, and it was like literally like almost an hour long of us just like talking about all of like these like personal stuff, and like we just met each other. So it was definitely a great like bonding experience.
Yeah, and I love what Mental Health Ohio said about end perfect attendance, which is what I love because I've had such a perfect attendance rate just because I didn't want to take days off for school, which is such a sad thing to say. Like, I just didn't want to take off because I knew that it would ruin my attendance. But the mental health days don't count because I know some states or some counties do have them, and it doesn't go towards your attendance. It goes towards just making sure you're okay, which sucks that most schools just don't. Like, sometimes the schools care more about their attendance and their GPA and their test scores as opposed to how students are doing. Like,
Mhm.
how doctors want you, like, your brain doesn't fully wake up till about 8 a.m., but the schools start, some school systems start at 6 to 7 in high school, and colleges sometimes start earlier, which is so sad. Just not
Yeah,
being able to, your brain to process everything that's going on. Excuse me, that's going on.
yeah. I've never understood perfect attendance. To me, especially like if you get the flu, then like you just ruin your perfect attendance, and it's almost like trying to see like who has a superior immune system. Like I've never understood like the whole like point behind it.
Exactly. Like, it's nice to have a decent attendance. Like, when I broke my leg my sophomore year, like, that was just as, COVID was popping up. So, like, I was in school for January, and then as soon as February 8th hit, I was out of school for 3 weeks. And then as soon as I got back, I had 2 weeks back at school, and then I was out of school. And I missed a couple days because I got sick because of just my body couldn't handle going to school on the broken leg. And it was really is a pretty bad break too. I definitely posted some things about that on my page. But it's just so hard when the school just doesn't understand your mental capacity, your mental compared to your physical. Because I had to take 2 mental health days and 5 physical days, and they just counted that all as an as just excused absences for physical health, which was so upsetting because that made it so I couldn't take any more excused absence days, which really sucked.
Yeah. And of course, like you also sometimes just need like excused absences for like mental health days or days like where maybe like it's not physical, but like it's still like has to do with your health because that's still your health.
Yeah, like I've like lots of people also just like will take mental health days to just do something fun that lets their mind go, because I took 1 mental health day my junior year, which is like as we started going back to school, my brain just couldn't handle being back after being on Zoom and Google Meets for like so long. My brain just couldn't process it like correctly. So I took a day off, and I just called my dad and was like, "Hey dad, can you take the day off today and we can just do something?" So we drove to Schaumburg and we went to Guitar Center, and like we went to Addison, and we just had a day together, which is sometimes what you need, because mental health doesn't mean sleep in, do everything to make yourself healthy. It means just to make your mind healthy and make your mind safe. Because if you don't take the mental health days or talk to someone about your mental health, it starts building up, which, like I said before, I usually bottle everything up, but it starts building up and building up, building up until you just start having breakdowns and you have anxiety attacks, panic attacks, which mine just kind of come and go now because of how much I bottled stuff up. It's just like we tried treating it and the treatment just doesn't work. We tried meds. It just sometimes the best medicine is to just leave the environment that's kind of enforcing your bad habits, like, which is like a really cliche thing to say, but it's the best advice I could give anyone and that I've given myself for sure.
No, definitely, for sure. I definitely agree because sometimes I know like typically whenever like we'll say like, oh, I need a mental health day, it's usually like, oh, just like in like recovering from like just maybe like some feelings that you've been feeling, but also just like just taking like a break from everything and just having some like personal like enjoyment, doing something that like you find enjoyment in,
Mhm.
um, definitely can be super helpful. Oh, Mental Health Ohio just sent a request to be in our live video.
Okay.
So let me add them real quick to our video. Hello.
Hi, girls. I just wanted to get on here and just say how amazing both of you are. I mean, you are so mature and so informative, and what you're doing for other students your age and even adults. My goodness, like you're doing very powerful things, whether you know it or not.
Thank you
Thank
so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. That really means a lot to hear. Thank you so
mhm.
much.
Yeah.
It was very nice. Thank you so much.
I don't know how to get out of here.
Here, if you want, I can remove you if you'd like.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Yeah,
Good
no
job,
problem.
guys.
Thank you. But if what?
It makes my heart happy.
Me too. Definitely hearing that definitely is it just really inspires me to just keep on like doing this kind of stuff. But
Mhm.
if nobody else has any more questions for Kirsten, I think now could be a good time to end the live. But thank you so much, Kirsten, for coming on here. You were so helpful and so informative. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. If you ever want to do another live with me, just message me. You know my Instagram, so if you ever want to do something else with me, just message me and let me know.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for watching. This will be on our YouTube channel and our website. So I hope you all have an amazing day. Bye.